Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M. And I'm back with yet another video. This time, oh boy, have I got something for you. Before I get started, here we are at my homepage once again, just so that you know you're in the right place. Now, if you remember my coffee break video from the other day, I told you I tried to do a video last week and my equipment crapped out on me. I think that's what happened. I'm not sure. I didn't call upon Pazuzu. Maybe that's what went wrong. So, before we get started, hey, Pazuzu, if you could help me out, that would be great. If you got better things to do, I understand. But that's all I'm going to say. But here we are. Okay, Miss M is back. And have I got something for you? Oh, lordy. I've got, what do they call it? Tea. It's another, what are we calling them? True crime art videos. I tried to do this video last time with all the tea that I could find on that character, that individual that I talked about in my coffee break video, Inigo Philbrick. Okay. All right. And I mean, I hope this doesn't take too long. Last time it was almost an hour and a half because I had a lot to say, and I still have a lot to say. Like I said, my equipment crapped out on me last time, and I was so angry. I was so angry, and I guess maybe I was a little bit in over my head. I was trying to do too many things at once last week, and now, it's the end of Easter. I'm making this like a little bit before midnight on Easter Sunday, so Easter is officially over for me. I've done everything that I needed to do. Everything's all put away and whatever. I've got more stuff to do this coming week, so I said, you know what, let me make this video now, because this coming week, I don't know if I'm going to have this kind of time to do this, so I said, let's do it right now. But, like I said, the tea, it is scalding hot. All right, about this person, this individual, and what they have been up to. All right, I tried to make this video last week, and again, I'm trying again today. I hope it goes through today. I hope it takes today. This person is, people like him are mainly what inspired me to do my true crime art series. Look at this guy. Look, I mean, I haven't even gotten started yet. Look at all these tabs up here. Look at all those colors. Look at all those different symbols from all the different publications that I'm going to put you on for this video. People have been talking about this, but I'm just showing you. I'm starting out with the most basic of basic things. I'm starting out with this person and his business, the Inigo Philbrick Gallery. I'm starting out with their Instagram page. All right, they've got 21 posts. According to what I've read, it depends on the source, but either he started his gallery in 2013 or through 2014. So it's differing reports about that. But this is it. This is, Instagram rules the world. Social media rules the world. And his last post, good heaven, I don't know what the hell this is, but let me not get copyrighted, but it's March 26th. Let me check the date. 2019. Okay, that's kind of when he disappeared. And he was on the run at that time from the law. All right. So, like I said, there's only 21 posts. That's the last one. It's ridiculous. And this is the first one. There's a big X. And it's, I guess, featuring the work of this person here, Wade Guiton. Untitled 2007. Epson Ultrachrome Inkjet on linen. It's about 40 inches by 36 inches. Big old X. This post is from, I'm not wearing my glasses. I shoulda. But oh no, I'm looking at it a little better. June 15th, 2018. So this is the first post for an Instagram page for a business that was started in 2013 or 14. Don't you find that suspicious? And 21 posts total in a year, in about a year, for this Instagram page, for this business. And this is very odd. You don't have to look at any of the other articles or any of the other information I'm about to put you on or drop on you here in this video. You could just look at this cockamamie Instagram page and you could see right away. You don't have to be very smart, because I know I'm not. You don't have to be very astute. You don't have to be any kind of investigator or detective or, one of those true crime mavens online and whatever. No. You can see right away that something is wrong. Something is deeply wrong. 21 posts in a year's time on an Instagram page for a gallery, an art business, a gallery that is allegedly like hotter than hot. Very, very hot happening kind of business that this person was allegedly running. All right. Now, maybe I'm a little bit crazy. No, not maybe. Yes, it's true. I am a little bit crazy. Maybe I'm a little too suspicious. Maybe I'm a little too skeptical. But I just don't take anybody's word for anything anymore. When I read stuff on the internet, especially social media, I just go ahead and assume that there's some kind of deception going on. Takes me a little while to figure out what it could be. Okay? But it's there. Whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, it's probably there. If it's put out by the media, if it's social media, oh yes, of course. Most people are at least somewhat deceptive on social media. Even when everything's on the up and up, you're not going to know everything about these people. Whatever. But anyway, so this Instagram page, just look at it. It's suspicious. Very suspicious. So, again, before all of this stuff started happening and they started like closing in on him, this should have been enough for most people. This should have been enough for the people who were working with him. His business partners and associates and what have you. Yeah, they should have seen this and said, oh yeah, something's wrong. This guy's up to no good. So, let's keep it moving. I got, what did I say, over 20 of these things, so I'm going to go through them all. Now, if you click on this link to this person's gallery website, you're going to get nothing. It's gone. If it ever existed in the first place. I mean, it did. The Wayback Machine tells us it did. But this is a dead link on his Instagram page for his gallery. So thank goodness for the Wayback Machine. This is the first snapshot on March 5th, 2014 for the website. And I'm just going to go ahead and use that one for the sake of example. Okay, like I said, I did this video the other day and I got all the way to the end and then kerplooey. So this is, look, 63 captures, only 63, okay. Between the 5th of March, 2014 and the 22nd of October, 2020. Bear in mind, he was in custody on the 22nd of October, so in 2020. So, yeah, he has been in, like, you heard me right, in custody. This is, I guess, the blurb or whatever for his exhibit that he was running at his gallery, 20th of January to March 28th, 2014. And what else? Yeah, let me just go ahead and click on this. Are we going to get a home page? Probably not. But my point is that this website did exist. Yeah, look, page is not available. All right, cool. This website did exist, and the last capture was October 2020. It no longer exists. It's no longer accessible through the ordinary channels. You can't just look at it online or type in the URL and see what was there. No, it's gone. And so you have to, if you want to see what it kind of looked like with all of these images and whatever kind of removed, you have to use the Wayback Machine. I don't know what's going on, but something's going on, right? Here is our first article from Art News. Okay, December 3rd, 2019. Who is Inigo Philbrick? Meet the man behind one of the biggest potential modern art scandals. All right? A young man with a reddish beard and tailored jacket sat on the aisle at Christie's New York, November 2011 evening sale and calmly underbid 4 works from the single-owner sale of software mogul Peter Norton's holdings to David Hammond's, a Barbara Kruger, etc., and then a Mona Hatoum that sold for a record $470,500. Later in the evening, the young man finally outgunned his older rivals to take down Andreas Gursky's Rhine 2 from 1999. He paid a record price for Gursky at $4.33 million, which was also the highest price for any photograph at auction. Okay, thumbs up. The sale marked then 24-year-old art school graduate turned White Cube Gallery private dealer Inigo Philbrick's debut among the select group of international art dealers who can be seen publicly bidding for and buying works in global evening sales. Okay. All right. This is interesting. Although not able to play in the thin air above 10 million, it was unusual and attention-getting that such a young player could emerge in the marketplace. In 5 years' time, Philbrick would report to the UK's Companies House database an operating turnover of £50.6 million and a net profit of £1.61 million for 2016. Okay. The next year, his reported turnover almost doubled to £96.4 million and a net operating loss of £935,117. But that, a footnote explained, was attributable to the Brexit-hobbled British pound sterling, which caused a currency loss of £3.3 million. Okay. All right. Listen. Ay. Like I said, this Instagram page is enough. But these people need their numbers. Okay, cool. By May 2015, he had become a familiar figure on that blue chip circuit. Okay. So basically, this guy was a big mover and shaker in the art world. He's young. At this time, they said at this time in 2011, he was 24 years old. That's young. Now he's in his mid-30s, now that he's in custody and awaiting sentencing for what he's done, financial crimes. Something doesn't make sense. You could very easily, just like I did, you can, look up this person's name, look up what it says on the internet about him. There's plenty of, oh my God, look at him. This is him over here on the left. You could look up his name and find out very quickly what's going on with this individual's case. He is in trouble, in serious trouble, for financial crimes based on art sales, buying, selling, and basically defrauding people. All right. I think his 2 main charges are wire fraud, and I think one article calls it aggravated identity theft. Whatever. I don't know how aggravated. I don't know why, the qualifier aggravated. changes anything about the crime of identity theft. But then again, like I said, I'm not an expert for sure. I'm not an expert. But that's basically what he's on the hook for. He had become a familiar figure back in London's Mayfair neighborhood. Philbrick now had his own eponymous gallery where he had been staging cutting-edge exhibitions such as whatever. Okay, so they're throwing out all of this information to tell you that this guy was playing with the big boys and girls in his profession. And at such a young age, that was kind of stunning for him to be throwing around that much money, buying and selling these works of art. In many cases, I mean, the names that they threw out, Barbara Kruger, and I don't know about David Hammond's, or Mona Hatoum, I think she's still alive. Don't know about Andreas Gursky because I don't keep up on these. But a lot of these people are still alive, and you can see the prices of their works. The art market and the auction circuit for paintings, something is wrong with that whole industry. Something is very deeply wrong with that whole industry. And, ordinary people who don't know about it, don't know anything about it, they look at it, and a lot of people, maybe sometimes they publicize, or you'll hear a news story about like some major sale, millions and billions and millions and millions and millions of dollars being paid for a work of art, and ordinary people hearing that on the news say, oh my God, like why would anybody pay like $500,000 or like $20-30 million for one painting? Never mind how famous the artist is. That's like a crazy amount of money. What is the point of paying that much money for one single solitary work of art that might or might not be considered, a good work of art, depending on where your tastes lie? And that's a good question. Ordinary people asking that question, they're right to ask that question and wonder about it. I'll just be very frank. There's some shit going on. There's some shit going on in the art market, at art auctions, in art sales. And, in general, the way that very high-priced works of art and money changes hands in that whole setup. So people are right to wonder. Yeah, something is wrong. In June 2019, members of the art world gossiped about Philbrick selling a small Robert Ryman work for what he had paid a few years earlier at auction just to raise cash. By late summer, his many deal-making partners were beginning to demand satisfaction. And according to recent lawsuits, when Philbrick ran out of string to kite his deals from one buyer to another, works were revealed to have more owners than previously known. So that's one of the things that he did. He would sell one work of art to more than one person. Apparently and obviously that's illegal, right? Almost overnight, Philbrick joined the fraternity of art world high flyers in the global market with accusations against them. There was Michael Cohen, who, after running up considerable debt trading commodities, disappeared in 2000 with $50 million of unpaid obligations to his peers. Larry Salander later topped that with $120 million fraud that ensnared more than 30 dealers, collectors, and investors. He was sentenced to a prison sentence of 6 to 18 years in 2010. Just last year, Ezra Chawagki was convicted of wire fraud and sentenced to 18 months in prison for a fraud that hit such art world stalwarts as dealer Heli Namad and collector Baby Jane Holzer. Before Philbrick stopped communicating with lawyers and distressed clients in early November, he appeared on email as the confident dealer brushing off a cascade of allegations that would cause him to lose as much as $100 million. Ha ha ha. What does he say in his email? There is going to be a lot more to this than has come out yet. Okay. The story is going to be a cautionary one with regards to the professionalization, securitization, and legalization of the art world. We are in a period of massive transition where art dealers, collectors, and investors are attempting to turn the arena into one which mimics the world of finance and real estate. Alongside this change will naturally come impropriety and the need for increased due caution. Okay. This is what this guy wrote in an email to people, to reporters in late October, after the first lawsuit was filed. This is a really interesting statement that he made. And he's the one. He's the no goodnik. He's the one who's being charged, and I don't know if he's been convicted yet, but a fraud, wire fraud, identity theft, selling the same painting to more than one person. Oh Lord. And he's the one making this statement. Please remember this statement that he's made, that they are reporting here in his email. He's trying to say something. He's trying to say something. And again, I don't know exactly what to think, but I will tell you what my conclusion is at the end. Absolutely. So, as I always do, all right, I will put all of these links in the description of the video so you can read through them yourself if you'd like to. It's not humanly possible for me to read you all of these articles in this video. That video would be at least five hours long, and you know I already make long videos to begin with, so I'm not going to do that to you. That would be interesting, though. Philbrick had a fairly unique position within the art trade. Although he learned his trade at White Cube founder Jay Jopling, Although he learned his trade with White Cube founder Jay Jopling at that dealer's gallery and went out on his own with that dealer's backing, Philbrick was more of a dealer-to-dealer salesman than a guy working collectors. Most of Philbrick's creditors were art investors looking to buy works they could hold for a year or two and sell for a decent profit. How did Philbrick convince so many experienced art hands to trust him? Several of those who did business with Philbrick or were offered works described two very different approaches. Okay, again, you can read through this on your own. So basically they're calling him a con man. They're calling him a con man. Which, okay, yeah, he's before the law now because of allegedly being a con man. And I'm not necessarily doubting that he's a con man, but I am doubting that somebody as young and as allegedly inexperienced as him, compared to all these other people that he was working with, they're much older, they've been in the business for much longer, they got plenty more experience than him. How was the con man able to con them? How was the chick able to con the rooster? That I don't understand. That I can't understand. But let me go on. You know how I said in one of my videos that a lot of these articles are basically regurgitations of the same thing over and over and over again. This is no different. So here's an ABC News article from June 2020. All right, so this first article was from, where is it? December 3rd, 2019. Then we go forward a few months, about half a year. Inigo Philbrick, art world's mini Madoff, arrested on remote Pacific Island for $20 million fraud. I don't know what this is. Prosecutors. I guess they're the ones who said this. Inigo Philbrick allegedly sold the same artwork to multiple people. All right. A disgraced gallery owner known as the art world's Mini Madoff. He's not a small person. He's not tiny. He's just young. And when I say young, I mean he's in his 30s. So that's why they're calling him a Mini Madoff. And I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. What is a 30-year-old is now a child? When did this happen? But never mind. Um, a disgraced gallery owner known as the art world's Mini Madoff, a reference to jailed financier Bernie Madoff, has been taken into custody on the South Pacific island nation of Vanuatu, according to federal prosecutors in New York, who have charged Inigo Philbrick in a $20 million fraud scheme. Vanuatu authorities expelled Philbrick at the request of the U.S. Embassy in Papua New Guinea. He was transported to Guam, where he is expected to be presented in federal court Monday. Philbrick was an art dealer specializing in post-war and contemporary fine art, with galleries in London and Miami. Okay, so this guy, he started out with a gallery in London in 2013 or 14, not sure. And it was going so great for him. He was doing such a great job that he opened a second location in Miami. And again, he did this when, was he like 30 years old yet? I'm not sure. But again, young person, young guy doing this. Again, I don't think that most people who have never like had to buy or sell art anymore, or who've ever worked with it or around it, or read about it or studied on it or whatever, I don't think most people realize just how much money changes hands, just how much money is involved in these high-priced art sales. Okay? This is not like somebody opening, a bakery and selling muffins and croissants and cookies and cake and bread and rolls and biscuits and etc., etc. You know what I mean? Bakery. You make the stuff. You open up the door at 6 a.m. I guess bakers like open up early because everybody wants their treats with their coffee really early in the morning. And when you're out of muffins and croissants and cookies, you close. Or, that's it. That's it for the day. You sold all your baked goods, and that's it. That's how that business works. And what do bakers do? They're working like while it's still dark out, like at 2 a.m. They're putting stuff in the oven so it can be ready to sell to the consumer at whenever they open, right? So that's how the bakery business works. Like, people can figure that out. That's not a secret. That's not hard to understand. This shit, the art world, galleries, art dealers, auction houses, museums, and the amount of money, the huge sums of money that change hands in that world. It's mind-boggling. Millions and millions and millions, billions probably of dollars every year change hands. So a painting is bought, or it doesn't have to be a painting, but a work of art is bought, and then like I read a little while ago, somebody holds on to it for a year or two, anticipating for it to accrue. What is that the right word? Accrue? Or anticipating for the value of that work of art to rise. And they buy it with the intention of selling it in a couple of years and making a profit off of it. All right? And when I say profit, I don't mean like, a couple $100. No, I mean like millions of dollars in profit. How? Nobody can explain that well enough. Nobody can say how that happens. How can these people who do this, how can they be guaranteed, more or less guaranteed, that if they buy a painting today for $1 million, that in a year or 2 or 3 or 5, they're going to be able to sell it and like double, for double what they bought it, and make 100% profit on that item. But that's maybe just one example, and it's a theoretical one, but I'm sure it's happened. How is that possible? Nobody can explain it. It's like magic. It's really like magic. Anyway, they're calling him a serial swindler who misled art collectors, investors, and lenders out of more than $20 million. That's why he's in trouble, said U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman. You can't sell more than 100% ownership in a single piece of art, which Philbrick allegedly did, among other scams. All right. He's charged with wire fraud and, here it is. This is where I read it. Aggravated identity theft. Bought at auction a 1982 painting by Jean-Michel Basquiat titled Humidity for $12.5 million. According to the criminal complaint, he allegedly told an investor he paid $18.4 million. The investor, the FBI said, wired Philbrick $12.2 million for a joint ownership stake. Do you see what's going on here? So these people knew that he was selling pieces of this painting. So more than one person or more than one entity would own this painting. They knew that. It seems that way to me anyway. But he sold more than, so any given item, there's only 100% of it to sell. You can't sell more than 100% of it to anybody. Okay, if you're dealing with two peoples and they're going to have a share of that item, it's going to be 50-50. 3 people, it's going to be about 33%, a third for each person. Apparently he is doing some fancy math with these things. All right. The investor, the FBI said, wired Philbrick $12.2 million for a joint ownership stake. Philbrick allegedly then sold a second ownership stake to a different investor without disclosing it to either. And that's after he told them that he paid more than what he really paid for this item. There are so many problems in the art world. You would expect, with this amount of money changing hands, these obscene amounts of money being transferred back and forth for ownership, or people buying and selling these works of art, that there would be some kind of registry, that there would be some kind of official list maintained of works of art, who bought them, who sold them, and for how much and when. And you could maybe go refer to that or have access to that if you're a professional in this field. No. There are lists, but there is no gold standard. There's no. It's not like a house where you can go and find the deeds or find the historical information about the house, who owned it, who bought it, who built it. Were renovations done on the house, were parts added or taken away from that. No, you can't do that with a work of art. You cannot find that kind of information. And because if you read this part here where he says he paid $12.5 million, or I'm sorry, no, he paid $12.5 million, but said he paid $18.4 million, he can do that. If that's what he said, that's a flat out lie. And he's telling these kinds of lies to people who should or could or would know better. Yeah? He's telling these kinds of lies to people who should have the resources available or necessary to check that information, to go to a database, to go to somebody, to ask somebody, a professional in that field, hey, when's the last time such and such painting was sold, and how much was it sold for, and to whom? So this tells you right here that they were not able to do that, because who wouldn't check that information? if you're investing this kind of money, 12 million, 18 million, don't matter. That's a lot of money either way. If you're paying that kind of money for something, you would want like somebody to show you the Carfax, wouldn't you? But I guess, like there's another example. Cars. You could do all kinds of funny shit with the license plate, but the VIN number is always going to be the VIN number. And that's for cars. Like I said, cars, real estate, whatever. But paintings, no such thing. No such thing. Okay. Mr. Philbrick allegedly sought out high-dollar art investors. Again, people who should know better. Sold pieces he didn't own, and played games with millions of dollars in other people's money, said FBI Assistant Director Bill Sweeney. Okay, so the FBI is on the case, y'all. Remember, I talked about them in my first video for my True Crime Art series. I talked about the ACT, the Art Crimes team from the FBI. So they are like, they're the ones. They're the ones who caught him. They're the ones who were, like, keeping tabs on this guy and trying to figure this out. I mean, I know that there's all kinds of stuff written about them, but you don't mess with them. The FBI, if they're investigating you, you're as good as caught. You're as good as caught, charged, prosecuted, and in the slammer. If the FBI like raids somebody's house, it's not because they didn't do anything. No, I don't think they make mistakes. They're very good at their job. And now, since, like, what did I say in that other video? Since about 2004, I think. I don't want to, don't quote me. Go back and watch the other video. They have dedicated a branch of what they do to art crimes. Oh boy, ooh, and I couldn't be happier. Like I said, I am enjoying this. I sure am. But anyway, back to this. Philbrick also misrepresented the ownership of in a 2010 untitled painting by Christopher Wool and a 2012 untitled work by Rudolf Stingel that depicted Pablo Picasso. Okay, so this guy has been committing fraud left, right, front way, side way, every which way. Something don't make sense to me. Something doesn't make sense. His galleries closed and he fled the country to Vanuatu since October 2019. Okay, so he just, from the looks of it, he just cut and ran. All right. Here's another article. Bloomberg, high-flying London art dealer in Oklahoma jail. Oh, he's in Oklahoma. All right. After fraud bust. Inigo Philbrick is held in facility where masks aren't popular. Okay. Philbrick had gone missing after flurry of suits by investors. And that's the thing about these cases, right? You think, you look at him. There he is. They show these pictures of him, and I don't know what to say about this expression on his face. He doesn't look happy, that's for sure. But maybe he's I don't know. Philbrick has gone missing after had gone, past tense, had gone missing after a flurry of suits by investors. You kind of think, like, how did this person let it get this bad? Where did they lose control? And me, again, I don't believe anything I read anymore. I always take everything with a grain of salt. I more or less automatically assume that something deceptive is going on when I read newspaper articles, anything on the internet, anything on the news, on TV, or whatever. Even historical articles. Like, I have no reason to, at this point in my life, after everything that I've read and analyzed and whatever, I have no reason to take anybody's word for anything. I don't care how respected they are. All right? They have plenty of reason to deceive their audience. They've got plenty of reason. So this Philbrick fellow, when did it start to slip away? Or did it? Or did it? Did it get out of control? Or did it get to exactly where it was supposed to get to? I don't know. This is a July 8th, 2020 article. Art dealer Inigo Philbrick's journey from a life of private jets and million-dollar auctions to an equally glamorous escape from fraud charges in the South Pacific has detoured to a rural Oklahoma jail. Philbrick, who had galleries in London and Miami specializing in post-war and contemporary art, was arrested on June 15th in Vanuatu. Great. He's being held at a facility in Chickasha, Oklahoma, where he is among a group of 30 federal inmates awaiting transfer to other jurisdictions. Okay. In this article, he was 33 years old. Yeah, 2020. So he's probably about 35 now. Whose life in the rarefied art world included private jets, expensive watches, and bidding millions at auctions. With his galleries in London and Miami shuttered, he had been missing for months, even after a flurry of lawsuits accused him of defrauding investors, including the billionaire Reuben brothers. Well. Okay, so this is interesting. This is what Bloomberg is telling us, and they're supposed to be very well versed in financial matters. This is one of the paintings, and I'm going to probably include it in my thumbnail for this video. The Basquiat behind art dealer Inigo Philbrick's indictment. The Wunderkind art dealer was denied bail in a New York court this week. This is from 2020. Ocula. Jean-Michel Basquiat Humidity, 1982, acrylic oil stick and Xerox collage on canvas. Take a good look at it. What is this up here? I don't know. Some kind of halo, crown of thorns, whatever. Okay. This is the painting that he sold to more than one person in a way where it was not okay. And who we have here? Christopher McKeough. That's the guy that I mentioned in my intro to the True Crime Art series. He seems to be the dude, who handles this kind of stuff. In the complaint, United States of America versus Inigo Philbrick, FBI Special Agent Christopher McKeough says that Philbrick repeatedly misrepresented the ownership of artworks, sold shares of artworks amounting to over 100%, and used works he didn't own to procure financing. Okay, I'm going to take his word for it because, it's an FBI agent. These guys, they do their research. And I'm not going to question any of that, at least not at this point. So that's what he did. How, though? How and why? Why was it possible for him to do that? It shouldn't have been. These clients and, again, business associates of his should have been checking up on this shit. They should have been doing their own research and not just taking this little fool's word for it. I mean, again, with money that serious, like millions of dollars, like, come on. One of the works at the center of the case is Jean-Michel Basquiat's Humidity, 1982, which he allegedly bought from an auction house in a private sale for $12.5 million US in 2016. He is accused of then using a fake contract to purchase it again from a Pennsylvania company 50-50 with another party for $18.4 million, selling a 12.5% stake in the work to yet another party at a value of $22 million. Oh my God. And using the work as collateral to procure financing without disclosing the interest of the other two parties. Wow. And there are people in the United States who are trying as hard as they can to qualify for loans so they can just buy a little shack of a house somewhere. And they can't. They can't. They're unable to do that. For if you live in Southern California, you know what I mean. Some of these houses that are going for like $1 million. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. This is not lifestyles of the rich and famous. This is a shack that they're selling for $1 million, and people can't qualify for a loan, and yet they're paying like $2,000 or $3,000 or more dollars of rent already, but somehow the bank won't let them qualify for a loan to buy a shack somewhere in I don't know, Alhambra or some, but this guy, no, he can just talk his way through anything. Who is financing this shit? Who, I hope they investigate those people too. The banks or the lenders or whoever put up the funds for this to make this fuckery possible. Oh my God. What in the world is going on here? Back in 2012, gallerist Tony Shafrazi told Simon Dupuy, then chairman of Philips Dupuy and Company, that Humidity is a portrait of Swiss art dealer Bruno Bischofberger and Andy Warhol, who famously said that good business is the best art. Yeah, that's what Andy said. Dupuy agreed with Shafrazi, citing the white outline of the main figure's hair, which he said was much like Warhol's later works with his fright wig. Humidity sold for $10,162,500 at Phillips's Contemporary Art Evening in New York that year. That's 2012. Okay, so this is one heck of a painting. Let's just put it that way. So there's a lot of these fraud cases. Christopher Marinello of Art Recovery International has been engaged by Ticolat and others to recover funds from deals with Gulbenkian. Okay, whoever that is. I know I skipped over that. We are even... As for Philbrick, I know of several cases filed in the USA over artworks that he sold to more than one individual. Several cases, he says. Unfortunately, there are going to be winners and losers. Well, isn't that interesting? Okay. Art companies jostle for ownership of Basquiat painting in new Inigo Philbrick related lawsuit, August 2020. Now, this was all going on during the pandemic. Maybe that's why a lot of people weren't paying attention. All right. So, people are playing tug of war with that Basquiat. First he sold and promised this work to multiple people. I guess now they're trying to hammer that out and figure out who really owns it. But whatevs. Fine Art Multiple Persuader. The tip of the iceberg, Inigo Philbrick Fine Art Partners and another art market scandal. This is from a year ago. They don't put the date, but okay, a year ago. As the fallout from the crimes of Inigo Philbrick continues to reverberate around the art world, focus is switching to his partners and financial backers. What I just said a minute ago. Financial backers who are now locked in a desperate battle to recover their lost funds. Oh dear. Of all the lawsuits now piling up, one of the most intriguing emanates from the Berlin-based art investor Fine Art Partners, a company that prides itself on its background operations and on acting with the highest levels of discretion and confidentiality. Founded by former Morgan Stanley investment banker Daniel Tümpfel and his wife, the former jurist Loretta Würtenberger, FAP is part of a rapidly expanding new business model that can quickly provide large amounts of capital for art purchases. Like I said, there are people who cannot buy homes, shacks in Southern California. Oh, dear. Anyway, whereas a bank is bound by tight regulations and can only lend money, FAP themselves would buy a stake in the artwork. On the face of it, their arrangement was simple. FAP and Philbrick would jointly purchase the works. Philbrick would then broker the sale, and then they would divide the profits. They first began working together in 2015 when they acquired two artworks by Donald Judd, Wade Goyton, two Christopher Wool paintings, a Yayoi Kusama piece, and two Stingle paintings. According to recently released court documents, the entire haul was worth as much as $14 million. Philbrick sold. Okay, I'm not interested in that information. Christie's auction house is now holding it on the instruction of a judge. Okay, Philbrick sold that Stingle painting 1.5 times before borrowing heavily against it for cash. Christie's auction house is now holding it on the instruction of a judge alongside a fake seller's agreement which Philbrick allegedly supplied to FAP as evidence that he had secured a guarantee of around $9 million from Christie's to sell the work. Fake seller's agreement. Wow. In the end, the painting sold for just $6,517,500, far below the amount Philbrick had repeatedly assured FAP it would make. Oh my. He was just 28 years old when they first began working with him. Handsome, well-educated, and also in a possession of a great industry lineage. His father is the curator, Harry Philbrick. I'll talk about him a little later. Okay, backed by J. Joplin, the White Cube gallerist and discoverer of Tracy Emin and Damien Hirst, Philbrick opened up a gallery in London called Modern Collections before later opening an eponymously named space in Miami in 2018. Okay, so the Instagram page that I showed you is probably from that Miami gallery. All right, now I'm understanding that a little better. As the flurry of lawsuits against the former Wunderkind make clear, Philbrick was selling the same artwork to multiple clients as well as defaulting on loans he secured using the artworks he didn't even own as collateral. He was, as his great friend Kenny Schachter fleeced for a cool $1.75 million, defined as stealing from Peter to pay Paul. Oh my. Oh my. Again, I'm not so surprised that this is happening. Not just with this guy, there are plenty of other mini Madoffs out there, let's just put it that way. I'm surprised that it's possible. Something is not making sense. And these articles, they keep referring to him as a Wunderkind. That means basically a genius in German, or like a prodigy or something like that. Why and how was he given that? Like, why were people calling him that? Why were people calling him a Wunderkind? Like, what did he do that was so awesome? In like a sea of people who have been doing this forever and making plenty of money doing it and have become plenty influential. What about him? This person. What about him made them say, oh, this guy is just amazing. He's a Wunderkind. He's a prodigy. He's like special in this field, in this industry. I'm not understanding. Inigo Philbrick, accused of a breathtaking fraud, is expected to plead guilty to federal charges. So he's not even going to try. Wow. He's not even going to try and say, okay, yeah, no, it wasn't me. No, like, I don't know. He was rolling in good vibes on the South Pacific archipelago of Vanuatu last year, even as allegations swirled that he may have committed a massive fraud, claims that will likely land him in jail. Okay, cool. Then the fantasy abruptly imploded. They arrested him. All right. Um, he was a serial swindler who misled art collectors, investors, and lenders out of more than $20 million, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey S. Berman said in a statement announcing the arrest. When his schemes began to unravel, Philbrick allegedly fled the country. All right. He will be back in court. Okay, he's expected to plead guilty, a source close to the case told the Daily Beast. It's not yet clear what his sentence will be, but he will likely have to pay more than $10 million in restitution, the source said, perhaps considerably more. His sentencing is expected to take place in several months. Philbrick's attorney declined to comment. Okay. The expected guilty plea will punctuate a dramatic downfall for the art world's wunderkind, as a number of media outlets have called him. He was such a nice guy, and then greed took over. One veteran art dealer who knew Philbrick told the Daily Beast, like, holy shit, that was some talented Mr. Ripley stuff. The dealer asked to remain anonymous, citing the industry's small size. Yeah, it is small. How and why did they let him get away with it? That's all I want to know. It's not about Philbrick anymore. It's about this industry and the small size and the fact that everybody knows everybody. And the fact that none of this makes sense. None of this makes one single solitary stitch of sense. It just doesn't. He's looking at being locked away barely a year after his fiancée, the British reality star Victoria Baker Harbour, gave birth to their first child. Okay, I don't care about that. Their relationship remains strong. Good for them. Whatever. He was born in Connecticut and inherited an artistic pedigree from his parents. His father, Harry, is a former museum director who later founded Philadelphia Contemporary, a non-profit that puts on art exhibitions. Okay. All right, his mother, Jane, runs an early-stage wool-based apparel and textile business and previously lectured at the Parsons School of Design. Great. All right. He wanted to become an art advisor early in life. Oh. According to a 2020 Vulture feature written by Kenny Schachter, a friend who would later allegedly become a fraud victim. I guess this guy, like, loyalty doesn't mean anything to him. He went to Goldsmiths in London. That's where his father went. Yeah. Okay. He has an angel face with curly hair. Oh, how nice. The Wunderkind was quirky. He chanted his own name in the shower every morning. Oh, my. Oh, that's just terrible. Okay. He was polished, he was polished, handsome too. Oh my goodness, he was really very kind. Okay, all right. Ay. See, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense. I've already explained, like, all of his different crimes. So here's a really awesome article from the Center for Art Law. The Inigo Philbrick saga, from wunderkind, again that word, from wunderkind to art fraudster. No. Everybody got it wrong. Wunderkind, apparently, is synonymous with art fraudster. Why don't they just write that? Been on the Run, Rise of the Wunderkind, The Mechanics of the Scandal. Okay, you could read through that on your own if you want detailed information. The Hammer Drop. Okay, what? Painting by, okay. Painting by, all right. The end of the line. This is interesting. While the full ramifications of Philbrick's case will not be clear until the dust settles, some have come away from the scandal with an eye turned towards a lack of transparency and regulation in the art market. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's how it is. Now, why? Why is there a lack of transparency and a lack of regulation? Who does that benefit? Yeah, I guess Inigo Philbrick, but it didn't really benefit him. He eventually got caught. In no industry, in no business on planet Earth can you do what everybody says he did and get away with it, or at least not get away with it for very long, unless you're like some serious kingpin with serious clout and power and whatever, which he obviously didn't have because, yeah, they nabbed him. All right? So this lack of transparency and regulation is there for a reason. That's not an accident. That's not a mistake. That's part of the design of this particular industry or business or whatever you want to call it. There, like I said a little while ago, there is no centralized database of artworks ownership and nothing resembling the title with regard to a work of art, as with real estate and cars. This is why. Okay, and you would think, look at the kind of money that people are spending buying and selling these works of art. You would think that they would set something up. You'd think that they would set up something like a centralized database. There are databases, but they're not very well maintained. Let's just put it that way. Anybody can make any kind of claim, and there's no way of really and truly and thoroughly verifying whether or not what that person said is actually what's going on. Now, I'm not going to say it right now, but like there's think of it. Think of what the reason would be for that kind of thing to exist in this particular field. Now, here's the last paragraph, which is kind of interesting. Whether and to what degree the art world will change in response to this scandal remains uncertain. The entire saga, as posited by Grossman, may turn out to be one of the most significant frauds to rock the art world in recent memory. Right up there with Salander, O'Reilly, and Knadler. I don't know who that is, but apparently, that was some tea. All right. So anyway, where was I? No, I already did that one. That one. Now we move on to the Tattler. This is an amazing article. I suggest you read it if you're interested in this. Serial swindler Inigo Philbrick faces up to 20 years in prison for outlandish art crimes. Okay, he didn't kill anybody. Nobody's dead. They just lost some money. All right. Now, stealing is terrible. But in my opinion, it's not as bad as murder. All right, but what do I know? I'm not a crime expert or a legal expert. But they're talking about putting this person away for 20 years. 20 years. All right? A Gatsby-like figure. Okay, so they're invoking F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel, The Great Gatsby. Apparently, Gatsby was... Well, yeah, in the book, of course. I remember reading that in high school. Yeah, Gatsby was not who he said he was. That wasn't even his real name. Well, this is interesting. Okay, Philbrick, a Gatsby-like figure, double sold the same... See, they keep saying the same thing over and over again. And that's why, when I was preparing to do this video, I said, I need to find some good articles where they don't say the same thing over and over again. I'm sorry, y'all, I tried. And why? In his own single word, money. All right, this is from November 2021. Faces up to 20 years. After pleading guilty, he pled guilty, to conning art buyers out of more than $86 million. Okay. When asked by the judge why he did it, Philbrick said, "For the money, Your Honor." I mean, it's like, why did they even ask him? Like, what did they expect him to say? All right, he disappeared in October. All right, great. Defrauding clients of more than 20 million. Okay, we know that already. Vanuatu, we already know that too. All right. Okay. He failed to appear for court hearings in Miami in 2019. His whereabouts were unknown. Yeah. All right. Fine Art Partners. Oh, apparently these guys are real pissed. I mean, I can see why, but like, why were they dealing with somebody who they probably knew was up to no good in the first place? I mean, they can't. Please, these people. All right, these Fine Art Partners people that I read about them in the article for you, like, they're not stupid. They saw what was going on. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. They saw what was going on, and they went ahead and worked with him anyway. And now they're mad that he did it to them. Really? Okay. It's a sad day for Inigo, but he's happy to put this behind him. Okay. Oh, look at this. Philbrick's attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman, said after he pleaded guilty, "The industry is corrupt from top to bottom. Inigo isn't the cause here. He's a symptom. I suspect many more cases like this would appear if the art world were investigated thoroughly." Mm-hmm. Truer words, yeah? He added, "While his actions were dishonest and criminal in nature, he's part of an industry sick from top to bottom, where this sort of behavior is sadly commonplace. That being said, he apologizes to his victims and will do all that he can to make them whole." Oh, wow. That is just, thank you, Tattler. Thank you, Tattler. You did it. Now this is what's going on, yo. I think this is the really like hot tea part of the whole thing. Okay, I think that this is the whole point of the everything that you can read, every bit of information you can find about the Inigo Philbrick saga. This is the point. Inigo Philbrick is the first domino, and people like this. There's more. There's more. When the first domino falls, the second one falls, and then the third one falls, and then etc., and so on and so forth. That's the point of all of this stuff that's going on. Additional dealer indicted in connection with Inigo Philbrick case. Go ahead and read through this, but as part of a case related to embattled dealer Inigo Philbrick, who pled guilty to wire fraud last year, another art dealer has also been indicted. News of Robert Newland's indictment, which was unsealed on Friday. When's the date on this? March 2nd, 2022. Ooh, okay. Which was unsealed on Friday, was first reported by ArtNet News. They're pretty good. ArtNet News are really like on top of everything. In the indictment signed by U.S. Attorney Audrey Strauss, a grand jury charged Newland, who is currently the head of sales for the art and technology firm Superblue, with having provided false information and false documents and made material omissions regarding the sale, ownership, and provenance of artworks. The grand jury also said that Newland had played a role in creating a scheme and artifice to defraud and for obtaining money and property by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. Wow, he sounds a lot like Inigo. Okay, so Inigo's lawyer, what's his name? Where is it? Jeffrey Lichtman. I told you. That was Jeffrey. Mr. Lichtman is basically letting you know what's going on and what's gonna happen. Okay, so we got this one. This one, he's been up to no good too. And here's another article. U.S. authorities have indicted a Super Blue sales director as an alleged conspirator of disgraced art dealer Inigo. So he didn't do none of this by himself. No. So there's another one. Who else? Is it the same guy? Robert Newland. Yeah, the same guy that I just read about. So like I said, when you find one article, you're going to find a whole bunch more just like it. So he was so this dude was a co-conspirator of this dude. Well, I guess so. Inigo has been talking. He's been telling, probably, what's his name, Mr. Makio from the FBI. He's been telling him everything he knows, singing like a canary. All right, Inigo Philbrick's lawyers make a last-ditch appeal for leniency with testimonials from Gilbert and George and a camp counselor. Okay, this is ridiculous, but I just wanted to put it here for you to read if you want to read it. This is from ArtNet News. 17 friends and family members have written letters of support on the incarcerated dealer's behalf. Like, a lot of help that's going to do. Like, oof. But you never know. You never know. These people are obviously movers and shakers, so whatever. Fraudster. Fraudster ex of Made in Chelsea star Victoria Baker Harbour claims he carried out £65 million Ponzi scheme because of drink and drugs in London's art world. Oh, come on now, really? Lord. Now they're calling it a Ponzi scheme. I thought it was wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. I didn't know. I'm obviously missing something. How is that a Ponzi scheme? But I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, same thing. Again, this article just repeats stuff over and over and over again. And because it's the Daily Mail, they just zhuzh it up a little bit more. So I'm going to leave that for you to read if that's what you want to do. This thing, I wanted to make sure and show you this. Theory of an art market scandal, artistic integrity, and financial speculation in the Inigo Philbrick case. This is an abstract for a paper written by two people, it looks like, art and art professions from NYU, of all places. I guess it was published in the American Journal of Cultural Sociology. Okay. I'll just read it for you, or at least a line or two. Focusing on the case of Inigo Philbrick and his alleged fraudulent overselling of artworks by Rudolf Stingel, we offer a new theory of art market scandal that builds upon Alexander's framework of the pure and impure, and Edut's concept of transgressive publicity. We argue that the presence of an art market creates latent impurity, according to the hostile world's conception of markets as an impurification of art. Oh my God. I don't know if I can read much more of this. The further financialization of an artwork into shares redoubles money's impurification of art by creating what we term a financial simulacrum. Oh, for Pete's sake. Oh, Lord. No. Look, I'm going to leave the link. You can look at it yourself if you like to, but no. I'll explain in other videos why I'm saying no so many times to this thing, but no. God bless them, but no. No. But let's keep moving. This is the art newspaper. This is the article that I featured in my Coffee Talk video when I was so frustrated about my other video that I tried to make about this when it went kerplooey. This one. Is the art market corrupt to the core? Balderdash. Yes, sure. An attorney in the Inigo Philbrick fraud case described the trade as completely rotten. I disagree. And where was that? That was a good quote, too. That attorney just... It was in the Tatler. It was in the, where's the Tetler article? There it is. Lichtman, Jeffrey, I don't know what you're trying to do, but I'm here for it. Is the art market corrupt to the core? Balderdash. An attorney? Yeah, okay. She disagrees. Who cares? First of all, she disagrees. I mean, all of these publications that I'm showing to you are industry standard publications. These are not, I mean, in the world of art, these are not like some, nobody, nothing community arts newsletters, No. These are serious publications in this field, and these people feel compelled. This one in particular, whoever she is, I think it looks like a woman. This person feels compelled to comment about it. She would have and could have and should have done better to just keep her mouth shut. Because saying anything about this case just makes you... she's responding to what the lawyer said. Philbrick's lawyer, Jeffrey Lichtman. All right, why? Why does she feel compelled to comment about what he said about the art world and the art, the trade? Good heavens, okay, the trade, as rotten. Why does she feel compelled to correct him or say that she disagrees? It's obvious that there are lots and lots and lots of problems. All right, the trade, as I guess she calls it, I don't know who else calls it that, but she calls it the trade, is like chock full of all kinds of fraud, chock full of all kinds of legal problems. There's no regulation. I've heard of it referred to as the Wild West, where nobody can really stop them from doing whatever the hell it is that they're doing. And she's here to say, balderdash, I disagree. Okay. The art industry is corrupt from top to bottom. I suspect many more cases like this would appear if the art world were investigated thoroughly. So said the attorney for Inigo Philbrick after he pleaded guilty. Now, and think about that for a second too. He pleaded guilty. He didn't even try to plead not guilty. I don't know why, but he didn't even attempt. The thought never crossed Inigo's mind or his lawyer's mind to try and plead not guilty. In this case, he said, you know what? No, let's not, because that's impossible for anybody to prove that he's not guilty. That's why they pleaded guilty, for goodness sake. And now, anyway, so after he pleaded guilty in a Manhattan courtroom to defrauding clients of more than $86 million, Philbrick admitted selling the same works to multiple investors. Yeah, we already know that. Defaulting on loans. As furious creditors closed in on him, he legged it to to Vanuatu. Okay, he's back in the U.S. We know this. Well, where to start? I was outraged by the lawyer's statement, blackening a whole industry because of a single rotten apple client. Oh, okay, all right. Of course, there are cases of wrongdoing in the art market, as indeed there are in all industries. Yes, the likes of con artists such as Anna Sorokin, Anna Delvey, Andy Valmorbida, and Angela Gulbenkian bilked clients out of their money. So I will remind you, did swindlers in other sectors, Bertie Madoff, Victor Lustig, who sold the Eiffel Tower twice, okay, whatever, and the man who gave his name to a whole fraud scheme, Charles Ponzi himself, hello as well to all those deeply corrupt kleptocrats from the stands who washed the ill-gotten gains through banks in London, New York, and elsewhere. Then there are sport and gambling, two more sectors. But for Philbrick's lawyer to say that the art business is corrupt from top to bottom betrays an abysmal lack of knowledge of the art industry. And as an added insult, he coupled this with a pathetic attempt to portray his client as a symptom of a corrupt system. Balderdash. Philbrick might have started out honest, I just don't know, but judging from accounts by Kenny Schachter and others, his early success went to his head. Okay. Oh, dear. Like, oh. This is just sad. This is just terrible. She should have not written this, because it's, I mean, they might I'm not going to say it, no. No. But yeah, if it were me, I would have just, I wouldn't have written this. No, sir. This is Inigo Philbrick's page from Dun & Bradstreet, which is apparently a thing that keeps track of businesses, business directory, contact directory for various businesses. And here he is. What I wanted you to look at here, now why I included this in my video. And I know this video is a mess, and I apologize. But it says all of his information. Yeah, his address. Yeah, his website. Yeah, how much he makes in a year. All right. And then it says the number of employees in the year started, 2014. Okay. Employees at this site, I guess in London, United Kingdom, 1. No secretary, no assistant, no receptionist, no social media director, no. Just one person. And I assume that one person is Inigo Philbrick himself. I don't know if this thing has been edited since he was arrested and etc. I don't know. But, there's another website too, gov.uk, find and update company information. Inigo Philbrick Limited, yada yada, same information as the other website. And then we go to people. How many employees? 1. 1 officer. 0 resignations. All right. This don't make no sense. 1 person managing all of this stuff, making $120 million of revenue in a year. 1 person handling all of that by himself. I don't believe it for a second. And nobody should have believed it. That's what I'm trying to point out. This is the, I guess, formally sealed complaint against Philbrick. All right. And this was prepared by our dude. Where is he? Yes, there he is, Christopher McKeel. I'm starting to really like this guy. I don't know him, but he's doing good work. And he's the one who went through all this. Count 1, wire fraud. Count 2, aggravated identity theft. We read about this. I'll leave this in the description if you want to read through it. This is like juicy, hot, scalding. Tea. Yes, the tea is very juicy. Tea is, yeah, that's what I guess it can't be anything other than juicy. But oh no, that's not it. So I'll leave this for you if you want to. I mean, Christopher McKeel has been busy. All right, special agent. Okay, and here this was signed, sworn to me by reliable electronic means this 30th day of April 2020. All right. Okay, so you can go through that on your own. I'll leave that for you. Getaboutcolumbia.com has this. I mean, this doesn't look like much of a website. It's not the New York Times. It's not People Magazine. It's not ArtNet News. It's not the Art Newspaper. It's not none of those. But it's got one of the best articles that I could find. Juiciest article. Lots of tea. If you read it correctly, if you know how to read it, Inigo Philbrick tricked his art mentor into a fake character. What did I say about the rooster and the chick a little while ago? Like, how's the little chick? It just hatched out of its shell. How in the world is that little chick gonna deceive the rooster that's bigger and stronger than him, has been around and done it all and seen it all, and etc. Let me just read a little bit. And it's also the most recent article that I could find. April 7th, or one of the most recent articles, April 7th, 2022, by admin. I don't know who that is. He did not do just defrauded art. Oh, who wrote this? He did not do just defrauded art investors of 86 million and fled to the South Pacific. Disgraced art dealer Inigo Philbrick also deceived his mentor with a bizarre series of lies, according to a new sentencing note from federal prosecutors. Philbrick, who pleaded guilty to wire fraud in November, began his career as a dealer at London's famous White Cube Gallery, whose owner, Jay Jopling, became his mentor. The pair eventually went on to work together, and in 2015, Philbrick used some of Jopling's money to purchase a 2019 painting of Christopher Wall for $3.5 million. Philbrick then allegedly told Jopling that he sold his stake in the painting to a number of investors, along with a 50% stake in another art piece to a mysterious buyer, but he did not pass any of the money on to Jopling. The note said the British trader was frustrated and demanded details of the buyer. To keep his mentor away, Philbrick made up a fake name and a fake email account for a supposed Argentine financer named Martin Herrero, who claimed to be his girlfriend's relative. Oh, wow. Prosecutor, and wait a minute. Hold on now. Okay, I could keep reading this. There's not much more of it. Well, actually, no, there's a lot more. But now I'm just going to stop right there. What the hell? This happened in 2000. Wait a minute. They started to work together in 2015. Philbrick used some of Jopling's money to purchase a... Okay. So 2015... And he just opened his gallery. But he's still kind of working with Jopling, White Cube Gallery guy. Okay, so this happened in 2015? Did Jopling ever, turn him in? I don't know. Maybe I need to read this a little bit more thoroughly. I don't know. But Christopher Wall, I haven't seen Christopher Wall in any of the things that I've been reading, but maybe I just missed it. Has Jopling, did Jopling, turn him in or report him? I don't know. This is why this article is so good, because it's not about what they write, it's what they haven't written. Did Jopling? He was frustrated and demanded details of the buyer, this mystery buyer that doesn't really exist, to keep his mentor away. Wow. Prosecutors alleged that Philbrick used... so he's... All right. So this came to court somehow, this information about this particular thing with Jopling. He used the account to devise a variety of excuses for late payments. In the end, Jopling didn't get $1.95 million back in his money. The fraud formed just a small part of Philbrick's alleged crimes, whose other victims were his friends and the godfather of his first child. What the hell? Something isn't making sense. I know this looks so cut and dry and so easy, but it's not. Okay, last thing. His father. Luke, I am your father. Here he is. Harry Philbrick is the founding director of the nonprofit arts organization and future space for Contemporary art, Philadelphia Contemporary. All right. Needless to say, if you have a Wikipedia page dedicated to you, that means you're somebody. And his father is somebody, a very prominent somebody in the art world. So his father has a Wikipedia page dedicated to him. Inigo Philbrick does not have a Wikipedia page dedicated to him. Not even close. But his father does. And this is his father's Instagram. Latest post, 2 days ago. Nice job for the faint of heart. Bridge repair, Ben Franklin Bridge. Whatever. Really interesting. His son, is on his way to prison for what looks like a long time. And this is his post. His latest one, 2 days ago. I assume that was Good Friday. Not sure, though. Interesting. This. So this is his father here on the left. And Christina. Okay. So this is an ArtNet News article. So they don't just write about anybody. They write about important people. Apparently, Inigo Philbrick's father is an important person. We're a group of museum directors who pooled resources during the pandemic. Here's why others should consider doing the same. This article is from March of last year. And yes, I'm suspicious. Way too many people committing fraud using COVID relief funds. That's all I'm going to say. Here it is. PAFA announces departure of Harry Philbrick. He departed his job in January 2016, apparently. And this is like before his son got in trouble for all of this, multi-level art fraud or art market fraud. I don't even know what to call it. Okay, so you could read that in your own time. I'm going to leave the link in the description. I've been talking for over an hour and a half. I hope I've provided you with some good tea. I hope I've gotten you to think about some stuff. I hope you find this interesting. I know I do, but again, I'm not the best presenter. I'm good at compiling information. I think you should have a good idea of what's going on now with this case. Now that I've kind of talked about it and read all of these various sources, please feel free to read more about it. Click on the links. Go find some links of your own. At this point in the video, I want to say thank you. If you made it this far, 1.5 hours of listening to me talk about this, thank you isn't enough for me to say. You deserve more than a thank you. But thank you very, very much. How about that? You're wonderful, and I appreciate you so much. If you like this video or any of my other videos, please, hit the like button, comment, let me know how you felt about it, what you think is going on, and subscribe, and and hit the notification bell so you can get notifications about any more videos that I'll be making. And share the videos. If you know somebody who would be interested in this kind of material, please go ahead and share and spread the word if you like what I'm doing. If you don't like what I'm doing, tell me. If you didn't like this video, if you think that my conclusions that I haven't even really expressed yet are no good, tell me. Now, if you've been listening for this long, it's probably because you want to know what I think about this crazy case. All right? You want to know what I think is really going on. I think that what we're being told is only part of the story. where's the Tattler? There's the Tattler. This is my favorite article out of all of them, I gotta say. Serial swindler Inigo Philbrick faces up to 20 years in prison for outlandish art crimes. His lawyer, and I've already kind of said this, his lawyer, where is he? For goodness sake. I can't find it. Why can't I find it? Oh, hold on. Always something. He disappeared. Okay, where is... His lawyer. Jeffrey. There he is. It's a sad day for Inigo, but he's happy to put this behind him. I bet he is. He's probably exhausted. Philbrick's attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman, said after he pleaded guilty, "The industry is corrupt from top to bottom. Inigo isn't the cause here. He's a symptom. I suspect many more cases like this would appear if the art world were investigated thoroughly." Jeffrey sounds like he's sending kind of a hint. I think that it is being investigated thoroughly. And I think Inigo might have been a tool for various investigations. That is my opinion. I have nothing to back it up with. I have no evidence. No. But none of this case and all of these weird details make sense otherwise. Inigo Philbrick was he set up traps for people that they walked into willingly. They thought they were going to outsmart him. Maybe he, portrayed himself as kind of a nut job and kind of a greedy person who wasn't really keen on details or going by the book or whatever. Maybe he portrayed himself deliberately as foolhardy, and his marks, his targets, they call him a con man, and his marks fell for it hook, line, and sinker. And now, people like this guy fell for it. People like the FAP people I'm not going to go through this again. I already went through it. But those people, they fell for it. Somebody who worked for Morgan Stanley fell for Inigo Philbrick's con. I find that hard to believe, but apparently he presented this to them in a way maybe they couldn't help but fall for it. Or maybe they thought they were going to outsmart him. And when all was said and done and Inigo Philbrick had played his role, he bolted to Vanuatu. And then now he's being investigated. I don't think I don't know what's going on. I'm probably going to be proved wrong, but my prediction is that he's not going to, if he does go to prison, he's not going to spend very much time there. Again, if he goes at all. If he goes at all. Something's going to happen where, the judge or whoever is going to say, yeah, I don't think he needs to go to prison. He needs to pay back the money and whatever. But he doesn't really need to go to prison. But the people who he worked with and the people who he allegedly swindled, they're going to in turn become the new subjects of new investigations, which I am here for that. If I'm right about this, I'm totally here for that. I've got my kettle on already. I've got all my biscuits together. Yes, let's go. Thank you, Tattler. Tattler, you did an amazing job. And like I said, his father doesn't seem worried. Not a job for the faint of heart. You know what? Could he be referring to his son? Could he be referring to his son? maybe whatever his son was up to, the Wunderkind, maybe that job is not for the faint of heart either. I'm just putting that out there. I know it sounds insane, but you know, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. This is a long ass video, and if you've made it all the way through, you're amazing. And I value you. You know, if you can listen to me blather on for hours, you're amazing, and I think you're wonderful. Thank you so much. So, not a job for the faint of heart, y'all. Not a job for the faint of heart. I wonder why. I wonder why, and I wonder how. So, again, thank you for watching / listening. I think we had a great tea party. I'm gonna come out and do another true crime art video next week, I think, if everything goes according to plan. So until then, again, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you didn't like the video. Share the video, and you know, let's keep this moving. I think this is great. I'm having a great time. But until next time, I think I'm done. I think I've said everything I need to say, and I'm gonna bid you all bye bye. So, bye bye, everybody.